Hello everyone, I'm Joe Ackourey, and welcome to the Fly of the Week. For this episode, episode 90, I'll be tying the Casual Dress All-Purpose Nymph. The Casual Dress Nymph was designed by Polly Rossborough back in the early 60s, and he designed it to imitate several different mayfly, caddisfly, and stonefly species. That being said, it's wise to tie this pattern in sizes 8s to 16s. That should do it. I typically fish this like any other nymph, right on the bottom, bouncing off the bottom, and I also like to fish it in tandem with another nymph. So yeah, add this one to your arsenal, guys. It's an oldie but goodie. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, guys, here we go. The Casual Dress All-Purpose Nymph. Start by placing your hook in the vise, making sure that the shank of the hook is relatively parallel with your tabletop, and begin to cover the entire shank of the hook with thread. You want to wrap back to the point where the shank and the bend meet, and that's right there's the sweet spot. So this pattern was developed by Polly Rossborough to imitate a host of different mayflies, caddisflies, and stoneflies. There's a lot of movement to this fly. I really like the design, and I think it's a very good fly to have in your arsenal for sure. It's an oldie, you know, it dates back. It's a classic. It's developed in the late 50s, early 60s, I believe. And yeah, it's a relatively simple fly to tie, and there's only two materials. One is the main part is the muskrat body hair. This comes from the back of the muskrat. A lot of guard hair. And the tail and the body and the collar are all made from this. And the only other material is black ostrich. So let's get started, guys. First thing we're going to do is make a tail. And the tail calls for muskrat body. I'm going to cut off maybe a half a gap's worth of material and keep the guard hairs in there. You want the underbody hair and the guard hairs, but some of these guard hairs are quite long, so I'm going to just draw out a couple of them that I don't like. And I'm going to orient the tail the way it should be. It should be facing back. These are the natural ends. This is the cut end. I'm going to measure the shank of the hook, including the eye. So there it is right there, guys. I got maybe one relatively long one there. We already determined where we're going to set the tail. I'm going to place that in the sweet spot. Transfer that to the sweet spot and begin to cover it. You want to wrap that up, the excess, all the way up the shank of the hook, like so. Clip off the excess so you don't crowd the eye. Get rid of a couple of wild hairs there. Whoops. Okay, return your thread back to the beginning of the tail. That looks pretty good. Now, for the body. The body's a little bit more complicated. It's made out of muskrat fur. We're going to use a dubbing loop, and we're going to go up about 75% of the hook shank with this dubbing loop. It's a little tricky to get started, but I'll show you. We're going to draw some thread from the bobbin. I'm going to use my little hook here that I used to thread my bobbin with, and I'm going to make a loop like you're watching here, and just wrap back to lock it in. There's my loop. It's locked in. I'm going to advance my thread to the 75% of the shank mark, because that's about how that's the length of the abdomen. I'm just going to let that go, and I'm going to again use this body hair, this body fur from the muskrat. I'm going to grab this bunch here, and I'm going to carefully cut that from the body. I'm going to actually pull all these guard hairs out because the body, the abdomen is going to be clipped very close, and we just need this under fur. So let's open up this loop like so, and then you just grab one end of that loop and place your thread. Again, it's a little tricky. There, oh, there we go. Place your material in between the loop, and that looks good. It's getting a little better here. Just kind of even it out. Some of it may not cooperate, like this little bunch here, but you can pull it out and tuck it back in if you're careful. It's a little balancing act going on here, but I think you get the idea. And I got a loose bunch up here. Just going to remove that, but I'm going to slide this group up the shank, or I'm sorry, the loop, and add another bunch. So I'm just going to let that hang down. I try to get it all in one shot, to make the body in one shot, but it may require another application. So once I get that group in position, I'm going to just peel it open and pop it in. And there you have it. Okay, so now you give a little bit of pressure before you spin this. Pull toward yourself and very slowly start spinning this. And you get a really great effect here. If you spin it too tight, you're going to break your line, your thread, and then it turns into a big mess, but you get the idea. So now I need to transfer this dubbing loop to my hackle pliers, and I do that like so. I grab the thread with my hackle pliers and clip off the thread from the my threader. So before I can start building this body, I kind of comb this back a little bit and like on itself, and then I could begin to wrap. Just wrap really slowly. With each wrap, you just draw the fibers back like so, and you just progressively work up the shank of the hook. If there's some unevenness, like you can see there's a spot, I just sit in that spot before I go forward and just wrap on top of it with another wrap, and it seems to do the job really nicely. I'm going to be a little shy here at my mark, so I'll have to add another loop to complete the abdomen. Okay, but I'm going to lock this first loop in like so. 8 or 10 wraps will do the job nicely. Clip off your excess. Form another loop. Get your hook or whatever you use. I use my threader. Let that lay back. Get your muskrat hide. Prepare the area that you want by I like to draw the fibers up before I cut them. There's my group. Remove the guard hairs. Get your loop. Open up your loop. Put the hair in between. Very nice. I'm going to add a little bit more to that. Remove the guard hairs. Open up your loop. There we go. Pull your tool toward you. Put some tension, pull it toward you, and rotate the tool clockwise or counterclockwise to start the process. Looks good. Transfer your loop to your hackle pliers and begin to complete your body. Fold this back like we did in the previous bunch. There we go. And continue building your body. I'm almost there with this, and it's looking really good. I think we're going to let it go at that. That looks great. Tie it off. Clip off the excess. Okay, so now we have a giant mess, it kind of looks like, but we're going to clean that up really nice. And I'm going to actually take my dubbing needle and just kind of carefully go through it to get rid of any snags or hair that's tightly packed and not unwound. Then I'm going to take my real sharp pair of scissors here and separate the body from the tail, because sometimes you can grab some of these the fibers from the tail and you know, ruin the fly. So I'm just going to carefully clip off all this long hair, exposing the body. And I want a slight taper in it. But more importantly, the fly pattern calls for like a tightly wrapped body, almost looking like a segmented body, and you can kind of see that happening here. It's looking good. And the further I clip this down, the more apparent it'll be. Just be patient. That's what I wanted to get. That group there. And I'm going to try to get a little bit of a taper going on there. Okay. I could sit here a bit longer playing around with this, but I think you get the idea. Okay, I think I like that. So now for the collar or the thorax for this fly, we're going to make another dubbing loop. And this time we're going to leave the guard hairs in the body hair that I'm going to pull off. Again, we're taking it right from the hide. We're going to take a good inch worth, leaving the guard hairs, and we're going to remove some of the real long ones. But yeah, that looks really good. So I'm going to pick up my loop, make sure it's open, pull it open, slide the material in place like so. Again, it could be a little tricky until you get the hang of it. Even that all up, pull the tool toward you, and begin to spin this clockwise or counterclockwise, whatever you prefer. Do it slowly. You could see the nice effect that's going on. It's really going to look buggy. And I'm going to stop there because I do not want to over tighten it and then the thread will break and then you have to start over. So now I'm going to transfer the dubbing loop to my hackle pliers and clip off my hook. And I'm going to begin to fold this back, fold this loop back. And my goal is to get at least 2 good wraps. There's one. Yeah, that looks good. We'll leave it at that. That looks pretty good. Anchor that with at least 8 or 10 wraps. Clip off your excess. And any wild hairs that do not want to cooperate with the main group. Fold your collar back. Wrap some thread into it. Looking good. So let's do a review here after I clean up this collar a little bit. Okay, so we first started with our tail. We made the tail from the muskrat body here. We kept the guard hairs in there, and we just attached about half a gap's worth of muskrat, and put our tail in, the length of the shank of the hook, including the eyes. Then we used the dubbing loop to create the body. The body is made of muskrat again. We made a dubbing loop. We wrapped that up 75% of the hook shank, and we clipped it clean so that it kind of exposed the segmented body. You could see it. And then the point we're at now is we got some more muskrat body hair, and we made the collar. We used the dubbing loop again, and we get this nice effect. So can you picture this drifting down through a run? It's got so much movement going on here. I really like that. And again, this is an old pattern, developed in the early 60s, and it just speaks movement, and you know, I like that in nymphs. So now for the final material. The final material is black ostrich. Now, the black ostrich has, you know, fibers similar to a peacock herl, but the stem on the black ostrich is very wide, and I'm going to try to show it to you on my finger here. I don't know if you could see that, but there's like the very wide stem, and the majority of the material is favoring one side of the stem, which, you know, exposes that entire stem. So you want to anchor this correctly so that when you wrap forward, the stem is always facing toward the eye, the majority of the stem. So I'm going to show you both ways. So I'm going to anchor that right up against the collar, and I'm going to begin to wrap this. You can immediately see what I'm talking about. The stem is pointing toward the eye of the hook, and that's what I want. If you do it the other way, I'll show you that. You don't get the same effect. The stem is back going toward the collar, and it just messes it up, as you could see. So, now you know. And you want to get 3 or 4 good turns here. 1, 2, 3. 3 is enough. That just adds a little bit of contrast to the fly. It really looks good though. Cover that up. Make your small head. Tie your knot. There you have it, guys. A little bit of cleaning up to do. Work on the collar a little bit. Finish off with a drop of head cement. And there it is, guys. The Casual Dress All-Purpose Nymph. Great pattern to have. I like to tie this in sizes 8s to probably like 16s or 18s. It really does a great job. I dead drift this on the bottom just like I would any other nymph. And I usually fish it in tandem with another nymph. But there you have it, the Casual Dress. I want to thank you guys for joining me in this episode of the Fly of the Week. And if you like the content I'm pushing out, please hit the notification bell and be sure to subscribe. Tight lines, guys.